All right, so if we're gonna go with Icon, let's go Icon everything here for a minute. Lots of tools in there. Went ahead and looked at everything Icon I possibly could find. Went down every aisle, every shelf. I see some things and I'm wondering others. Let's talk about it.
All right, let's talk about some Harbor Freight tools, specifically this Icon stuff, huh? Torque wrenches came in a little bit higher than I thought, even for this beam style. I know it says $99, but only goes one direction. I believe the Husky one goes both, and I believe it to be a little bit longer. But hey, if you're looking for a torque wrench, where's the 1/4 inch? That's what I'm wondering. I saw the 3/8 drive. I saw the 1/2 inch. Was curious if they made a 1/4 inch. That'd be one thing that I'd be wondering if they're going to end up doing anytime soon. Here's some different price ranges for the Quinn as well as the Pittsburgh. You can see you could get yourself a handful of these Pittsburgh torque wrenches that should do you good for a little while. Like I said, I've torque tested them. They work out just fine. Ratchets, okay, some pretty fair price. I mean, I can kind of compare the pricing to some of the Carlisle stuff and maybe even a little bit north of what you can get a gear wrench one from, but we are considering that they're trying to hit the professional market here. So looking at the extensions, breaker bars, other things like that they had, just kind of giving this all a little bit of a check out because, like I said, some mechanics have OCD and they're really focused on trying to have everything in one brand. Looking at the cart, they had a 4-drawer cart here. They had this all-drawer cart here. Starting off as a technician, whether it's lube tech or entry level of any kind, because you could be an entry level line tech, you got to decide how many drawers you want to get. And if you wouldn't mind just holding off until you had a little bit more money for that full drawer. Lots of different wrench range options here. They had them in all different shapes, sizes, angles, metric, SAE. You name it, they pretty much had it. One of the things I'm not sure that I saw was short, stubby, flexi head ratchet wrenches. But they did have them in the longer ones. Oh, I guess that was kind of considered short. But they have other stubby ones that are like stubbier than that. You know what I mean? But okay, we're looking at the pliers section. I'm wondering if they're going to add to it. I really am digging this red and black. That just keeps standing out to me. I keep walking by this, and I'm not overall a huge fan of red, but I really like that red and black. And I know that some of you out there love this green and black. All right, over here, we've got the screwdrivers, precision torque spits. Look for 15 bucks. I think it's a pretty good deal. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Tap and die kits, okay. A little bit higher in the price range. Would have liked to have seen it under 100 bucks, but it is what it is. Hammer selection, thought was very fairly priced in their hammer selection. Saw one ginormous pry bar, wondering where the other pry bar set is. Are they going to come out with a 5-piece pry bar set? We don't know. Brake rewind kit, I like that, but where is the brake service tool kit? Are they going to make one of those? Race and seal driver kit. Think that's a good kit. Got some other stuff going on here with the specialty tools, scrapers, picks, serpentine belt drive tool. Kind of looking at everything as a whole. They had this master fuel injection kit. Okay, this is a good start. Is this a start and a new beginning to all the testers that they're going to offer here pretty soon? Do they have a smoke machine and diagnostic tool? Are they going to come out with a compression test kit? Don't know. Let's go on to the socket aisle. So for impact sockets, chrome sockets. Thought they were kind of in the middle and some of them on the higher end price, but you start getting down to these full sets. As far as something in the middle and a professional grade, fairly priced. I'm going to say fairly priced. Not cheap of the cheap, not the most expensive of the most expensive. Look, some of this stuff is definitely overpriced. Some of the stuff I feel like is reasonably priced, like a little bit even under the medium price area, and some of it was just way overpriced. So again, I'm kind of trying to pick the battles, checking things out here, just seeing what all Icon has to add to their list, what all they're going to possibly be coming up with, if there's any other ideas that I have. Flipping through the Icon box, we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but for my area, they have this bigger one here. I think it's the 56-inch. I'm thinking that for my area, since it is kind of a rural area, that maybe the small service cart would have been a better option to put on display rather than the bigger one. But maybe it's still something you can order. I just didn't see it in the display catalog, so I'm not even sure if they still offer it. Some of you would have to let me know down in the comments. Again, kind of high priced on some of the attachments and things like that, but this is what we can expect from what's to be considered a professional toolbox. Look, if I ever sold the Matco toolbox, I would take this into consideration. I would. And I'd probably go with the black and chrome, not gonna lie, as far as color appeal goes. That's just my thought. I wonder if they're gonna come out with some other colors. Found a scraper for 15 bucks. Gonna hit this final display here in the front. I had a few things up here like under hood lights, so that's pretty cool. Wondering if they're gonna come up with their own flashlight or still run the Braun. We did see their little tiny pocket flashlights here. Icon chair, icon creeper.
Icon, but what if I'm missing one?
Oh, that's a good question. Looks like she's missing a 5/16. I don't know if I lost that one or if her mom might have misplaced it when they were using it for DIY at-home repair stuff. Any rate, that's a good question. We're all wondering the same thing. Harbor Freight. A lot of us either are missing sockets, or like this one, for instance, in this 1/4-inch set of Reagans. I ended up using this at Ron's Automotive. Actually, all these I've used at Ron's Automotive, and I had to grind this one down for a special purpose. But then after I did, obviously I can't just go buy an individual one. And a lot of us run into situations where we lose them or we have to alter them. And it would be nice to get one that's unaltered to put back in place and put this in a special tool drawer. Much like, well, your storage cabinet. Where do you keep these at your house?
I think my dad got them for free a while ago. And
Yeah, we got them for free from Harbor Freight.
Yeah, and I kept them in my blue toolbox.
That's right. So she's got, if you guys remember that Apprentice toolbox that we did a video on, like 4 years ago, I think, something like that. I think she was probably about 5-6 years old. She actually picked out the color because blue's our favorite color, and all the Icon sockets. Her mom was nice enough to bring these by for the video. The 1/4-inch SAE deep and shallow, the metric 1/4-inch deep and shallow, the SAE and metric deep and shallow, and the 3/8 drive. I'm just going to pull out one more here while you hang on to that one. Oh, they're all falling, see? So she has all these sockets at home. They're in that blue toolbox, but that is a good question though. So aside from some of the other tools, thank you, Sweet Pea. I'll take it from here if you want to go back to your Adopt Me. I won't keep you out here for my prolonged speeches. No, that does raise a good question though, and thank you, Mimis, for joining us for the video. Love you. Have fun. That does raise an important and very good question though, is what happens when we lose a socket under the hood? Maybe we left it attached to a ratchet while we were working on something. Maybe it was the end of the day and somebody else finished it up and didn't realize that your ratchet was underneath the hood of the car and it's gone, right? So there is no individual sockets set up anywhere within Harbor Freight. I want to say, I think once upon a time ago, they said that you could go up to one of the representatives and possibly order a single socket, but don't quote me on that. You'd probably have to ask your representative, or unless one of you have already tried that, you can let us know down in the comments just how well that worked out for you. As far as some of the other tools that we were wondering about while we were doing the store walk around, like the pry bar kits, right? Okay, they have one ginormous pry bar, which a lot of us do end up getting one ginormous pry bar over time, because in this career, leverage, if you give me enough leverage, I can move the world, right? There's lots of different things that we're bending and tweaking and moving and shifting, and these long pry bars, especially for heavy line techs, we use them to try to set the engines into the pocket, right? And then set it into the cradle, get everything lined up, engine mounts and everything else. So we see that they have that for sale. Curiosity if they're gonna end up selling a 5-piece pry bar set. Furthermore, there's other little things that we started to notice that are starting to kind of shift their way over to Icon, like this master fuel pressure test gauge set. We understand that they have the Maddox version of that as well, and they have the Pittsburgh version, but they also have the the Maddox and Pittsburgh version of compression testers, and I don't know if they have a leak down tester or even a back pressure tester. So my curiosity would be, now that they're starting to come out with a smoke machine and a master fuel pressure test kit, if they're going to start considering some of these other diagnostic pressure testers, be it back pressure, leak down, compression, diesel, and gas, and just how far they're going to go with that. We see that they started diving into some of the steering, suspension, and brake tools that they started adding into the Icon lineup. Does this mean we can expect a brake drum kit? Are they going to sell something like that that's not Pittsburgh, but that's in the Icon platform? Are they have the brake rewind kit? So just how much into that are they going to get into? Are they going to start adding different adapters that fit into air hammers? Does this open up a new line of tools, possibly for cordless or air? I don't know just how far down the rabbit hole they're planning on going. Yes, they have a lot of Braun flashlights. Yes, there have been some Icon lighting systems that they started making available between under hood and the little pocket flippy style ones, and they even have the one that folds out. But are they going to start making something that's closer to like a Streamlight like everybody likes to use, or a smaller version of that, something of that nature? They have a scan tool now that's supposed to be a OBD2. Looks a little over glorified, but are they going to start incorporating anything that has to do with ABS or the DPF system? Like, are they going to do anything with that? We don't know. But again, these are some things we started looking about and thinking. Interior trim toolkits, are they going to make some kind of upgraded, more hardened plastic version of that that's in the Icon lineup? Are they going to add more pliers to the mix? Are they going to create a bigger screwdriver set at all? I don't know. Are they going to make the Torx driver screwdrivers like Matco ones that I used to have a long time ago? Those things were widely beneficial. I really liked them and I enjoyed them, but I'm not sure if they're going to end up doing anything like that. We know that they went with the nut driver. That was one of the first things that they started developing outside of the breaker bar. The breaker bar is another thing. So I noticed that they make a long, and I've been really eyeballing it, 1/2 inch flex head ratchet in the Icon, but it's not like the longest one, you know what I mean, that they could sell. For instance, Snap-on has one that's fairly long and it's a locking flex head. I think a lot of us would like to see some kind of version of that, and a lot of us are going to be curiosity just how much something like that's going to go for. As far as the toolboxes are concerned, so right now I believe they have that 56-inch one, the one that I, yes, sold to a friend of mine that I used to work for at Chrysler. And I believe that for my area, because it is so rural, because there is only one dealership and a handful of mom and pop shops, my question would be, why isn't the shorter cart version with other similar attachments a little bit more available for at least on the display and available to purchase? I think that that would be more geared towards our area. I don't know a lot of technicians that are wanting to spend that kind of money on a toolbox on an unsecured credit card, which is incredibly difficult to get approved for, by the way. Anybody that has bad credit at all, like if your credit's a little bit shoddy and only thing you can qualify for are like high interest loans, you do realize the reason why Snap-on's able to suck a lot of us people into their line of credit is because it's a secured line of credit, and they'll approve darn near anybody for up to about $6,000. A little bit more challenging when it comes to the unsecured credit line, believe me. If your credit score is rocky by any means, such as mine, you're not going to get approved for even a $250 credit card from them. It's just not going to happen. So the reason why I think a lot of these youngsters that are trying to add to their toolkit, and they're not really making a whole bunch in the beginning, and I agree with you, probably shouldn't go into debt and get a credit account to make payments on. Unfortunately, that's the way a lot of us went, and that's the reason why we went that direction. So I believe with the whole credit line, they really should make it a little bit more forgiving for those that are credit challenged, but that could just be my thought process. I'm sure there's a lot of people on here that are going to disagree with me in the comments that says if you don't have the cash for it, then you shouldn't be buying it. I agree, but that is not what the rest of the world believes. So understand when I'm trying to preach this approach to giving the credit a different direction for those of us that they're trying to target, which is those that really can't afford the high-end stuff. Don't you think they should make the credit a little bit more similar to the Snap-on one in regards of it being like a secured line of credit, or like a rent-a-center for like furniture and stuff? Obviously that's a secured line of credit, you know what I mean? Why can't they do something like that that just makes a little bit more sense for those that are a little bit down in the poverty area that can't really, you know, go get an unsecured line of credit? That's all I'm saying about that. So I wish that there are some changes that they would do to that. I think that they should make some changes depending on the area in which they're trying to sell some of the toolbox product on display. Like if I wanted to see the bigger version of that box, I would expect to see it in a more populated area, and if I wanted the smaller version, have it be not so far away, but in maybe a little bit more of a rural area, such as like where I live. It just kind of makes sense. Other tools that I think that I'd like to see, we already kind of talked about and showcased. I think that a 5-piece pry bar set should be somewhere in the near future. We're starting to see the hammers. We see this super long one. I think that that's a good possibility. They're probably gonna go that direction with it. And then we'll just see about some of the other, you know, specialty tools and diagnostic testers and things like that that they're gonna be doing. That's all I got for this video, guys. Thanks as always for watching my channel. I appreciate it. Cheers to those of you viewers, and we'll see you guys next time. Kisses.